Hi, I'm Nate Newton of the Dallas Cowboys, better known as The Kitchen. After this great traditional game, I'm going home to my real kitchen and have me a big turkey. And I want to wish y'all a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Dallas, Texas. Watch this.
Gobbled up again, Brady James. And he comes up doing a little turkey gobble wobble. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And he comes up, turkey gobble wobble, flapping his arms like a turkey.
Great traditional holiday like Thanksgiving and football like we have today with two top teams in the NFC.
Guys, just start pulling the turkey legs off. Pull them off. Nate, just grab them off and give them to the guys. Start getting them turkey legs.
Let's be thankful giving these the ass whoop. Today is the day.
Happy Thanksgiving, my man.
Let's go!
It's our house. It's our Thanksgiving.
Ooh, yes, sir. We got a lot to be thankful for, man. I'm thankful for y'all, boys. On God, let's ball out, man.
Happy Thanksgiving!
On behalf of the Dallas Cowboys, I would like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving Day.
The tradition continues in 2023. It's Thanksgiving Day football from Dallas. AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders. The 11th all-time meeting between two divisional foes on Turkey Day as the holiday season is officially upon us. And so is Cowboys Pregame Live. It's the 56th all-time Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving Day game, and we're ready to bring it to you here from the Star in Frisco. For Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. From our family to yours, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy this holiday. Food, family, football. It all starts coming together around this time of year.
Yeah, you love Thanksgiving football. From a little kid growing up playing out in the backyard, Turkey Day football, to, us being able to play as professionals. So you love Thanksgiving. This is a big-time game for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, see, Barry had a backyard. I had to play street ball. You know what I'm saying? I was playing pole to pole. But either way, it was a good day. Loved it. Obviously, as a Dallas Cowboys, it's a huge day. All eyes are on you, and you get an opportunity to ball out.
I just remember growing up, man, it was Cowboys, it was Detroit, and it was the only two, man, that we was rocking. And now for us to be able to be a part of this now, super day for football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the Cowboys have had some success on Thanksgiving Day, 32-22-1. It's the best win percentage by any NFL team that's played at least 10 games on the holiday. And even better, they're 8-2 against the Washington Commanders. All 8 of Washington's Thanksgiving losses all time have come at the hand of the Dallas Cowboys. Barry, when you look at the way the Cowboys organization really welcomes in the holiday season, I mean, what stands out most to you?
I mean, nobody does it like Jerry Jones. When you come to the Cowboys Stadium, you know you're going to be in for a circus. And I got to give props to the fans as well, because they come out in full force, especially on Turkey Day. That fan base is going to be rocking that kickoff. Third down, it's going to be a madhouse in there. Fans, I can't wait to see what you got in store for us today.
Yeah, Barry just hit on it. It's all about, the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Everybody knows that's the game that you want to watch. Everybody's sitting around, you're about to get the itis, get your mac and cheese, get your turkey, get your plate ready, and get your tabletop. And you sit up there and you watch the Dallas Cowboys play. And I think it started back when this dude was balling up.
That's true. A little bit before me.
I was about to say, I think it was a long time
before.
a
little bit before me. But the thing about it is, you got an early game and you got a late game. But why everybody, whether you hate or love, want to watch and see what those Cowboys do, man? And like you say, Mr. Jones with that big old spaceship out there, things going to be jumping and popping today.
Yes, sir.
AT&T Stadium always rocking just a little bit extra on Thanksgiving, and the crowd's certainly ready to get started. Now, here's the one drawback of Thanksgiving is the fact that not only did you just play, and it's a short week, you got the Thursday turnaround after playing Sunday against Carolina, but then you have another Thursday matchup coming up next week. 3 games in 12 days. It's a quick turnaround in the NFL here and now, Barry, when you look at this turnaround, what makes it the toughest?
It's extremely tough because, it takes a physical toll on the bodies of these players. When you talk about 3 games in 12 weeks, that's gonna take its toll out on you. So when you come to an understanding, you got to have a coach that understands that fact, and he has to schedule everything around the players. And I think the number one priority has got to be rest. You've got to be able to rest these players. When you go throughout the week, it'll be a lot of walkthroughs, a lot of mental reps out there, but the rest is key because we know if you go out there and your body's not ready, 1, your play is going to suffer out there, and 2, it opens you up for a possible injury. So to me, and I believe Mike McCarthy understands this as well, you got to have rest. It's more about the mental reps this week going into this game.
I mean, Mr. BC just hit on it. It's all about the physical, and if you can get your body back to ready to play somehow, some way, then you're going to be in good shape. But that's its entire week leading up to it is all about watching film. It's all about getting keys. It's all about trying to get any kind of tip that's going to give you the advantage in the ball game. Because physically, honestly, the day before, yesterday, Wednesday, was the first day that your body started feeling somewhat like yourself again. So these guys are going to be touching the field, still trying to work them kinks out from last game.
2 weeks ago, Coach started saving these guys, started taking care of these guys. Everybody like, oh, what is he doing? This is it. This is what he was doing. Like you say, they started feeling good yesterday. Back when I played, it didn't matter. We just played. Now, these guys, they're more in tune with their bodies. They're more in tune with having that rest. And when they have that physical rest, their mental seems to stay strong, too.
So with that being said, I mean, there are a ton of different things that play a factor into it. But you also get to get up a little bit better because it's a divisional matchup. You don't have any time to sleepwalk going into this game because Washington, of course, being a divisional foe, you're trying to keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles as we take a look at the NFC East standings. Right now, Dallas 3 games back. This is the NFC standings as a whole, rather. Of course, 3 games back within the, or 2 games back within the division. But then you have them right there at the top of the wild card. Right now, if the season ended today, they would go on the road and face New Orleans. Isaiah, when you look at the NFC picture and the standings at the moment, Dallas sits in a pretty good spot, but they could certainly get better.
Yeah, they can certainly get better. Obviously, you got San Francisco up there, for accounts for one of your losses. You see Seattle right behind you, but you're going to have opportunity to see them next week. But it's all about taking care of the opponent that you have, and that's going to be the Washington Commanders. The NFC East is the first thing that you have to take care of. Everything else will obviously fall into place, but they have to get this game today if they even want to talk about trying to go into the playoffs.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Isaiah. When you talk about these games and these matchups and where you are aligned in the standings, as a player, you can't focus in on none of that. You got to understand that you got a responsibility on that field, and you got to take care of that first, and that's coming in with the Commanders. So if this team takes care of business, they'll meet Philadelphia down the road, and they'll get that chance to catch up, but you got to focus on game by game, in my opinion.
You're in a big redwood forest. But guess what? It's a redwood forest, and standing in front of you is a big redwood. Chop that one down, and then you can start building on the forest. We need to win this game today against the Washington. I refuse to pronounce their name.
Yeah, the Commanders.
Yeah,
Commanders.
Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
That's a good idea. You never really liked Washington, though.
No, they,
right?
they didn't know their name. They went from one to another. Admirals, the Commanders.
They'll switch again next year.
Yeah.
He didn't like it in the first place. Yeah. Now, I will say, you saw the graphic at the bottom. Dallas has been destroying teams. 6 different wins of 20 points or more. That's the most for a Cowboys franchise, Cowboys team since 1978. So they've been looking good, but gentlemen, I don't think they've been looking as good as Nate Newton is.
You ain't lying about that.
He brings out the heat for Thanksgiving. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, spend a little money, man. Yeah, put together some coupons, got things right.
Got it right.
But look at these. But look at y'all, man.
It was a gift. It is.
That's what it was. It was an early Christmas gift. That's what it was for Nate Newton. Now the Cowboys trying to deliver a gift today here on Thanksgiving. Let's hear from Mike McCarthy about what it means to play on the holiday, but also trying to get the job done against Washington.
I think it's just like anything. You just stay in touch with the video. They've also had some changes, particular defensive line. It's a division game. There's history, tradition that goes into this game. It's Thanksgiving, so all those things just bring more energy to the field, and that's what we're preparing for. But yeah, we're just staying on top of how can we improve from last week, and how do you apply those schemes and concepts to this game, and and how they match up, and it's pro football. So I mean we're anticipating a tough football game.
You mentioned the D-line. How different do they look since making the trades they made in season?
I would say a whole lot. It looks their pressure has gone up the last couple of weeks. So maybe that's part of their change. So those are the type of things that we focus on.
Mike Towers with ESPN. You saw Howell at his first start, I believe, last year, and what growth have you seen from him in the, 12, 13
Playmaker. You know, I tell you, I mean, he can really spin the ball. I was impressed with him in December last year. Obviously has a new system. I think they're playing wide open with him. But, you know, he's put up some big numbers.
Well, I think I just spotted another.
A live look at AT&T Stadium, where Sam Howell, like Mike McCarthy just said, will try and attempt to grow on the statistics he's already been growing this year. The one thing he doesn't want to grow on is the fact that, well, Sam Howell's been the most sacked quarterback in the league this year. 51 sacks in this Cowboys pass rush. When they take that field at AT&T Stadium, we'll certainly have to get after Sam Howell. And it gives us an opportunity here from the Star in Frisco to check in on the sideline there with Nick Eatman. And Nick joins us now from the sideline in Arlington. Nick, you got me? Are we able to talk back and forth? Oh, where are we going with Nick Eatman here? Oh, there he is. He's on the back. So, Nick, whenever it comes to a game like this, Thanksgiving, the emotions, the family element of it all, where do you want to see the Cowboys have success and try and put that emotion behind them?
Well, I think, you know, in a game like this, and again, we're still an hour or so from kickoff. It's kind of hard to hear down here, but I think for what you're asking me, though, what do you want to see from this team and you know, the emotions of the game, you gotta stop Washington early. I think you're seeing from the first game of the day that, you know, it's Thanksgiving for the visitors as well. They come in here, it's festive, they'll be ready to play, the whole world's watching. So, you know, usually you get someone's best shot, and so the Cowboys are going to have to withstand that early, and Washington's going to do what they've got to do to try to win this game. They're going to probably run the ball, be physical, and have some intensity, and the Cowboys have to match that.
Got to match that intensity. They've done that against smaller, or I guess less official opponents this season with those 6 20-point wins. If it's anything less than that and a dominating performance from Dallas, would you feel like this would be a disappointment in the way that they've been playing lately?
Well, I think, you know, yeah, the way the Cowboys have been playing and the way they've been playing at home, you know, they can't take it for granted. And I think that Arizona game, you know, whether or not that was on the road, of course, but I still think that game, though, sticks with them about, hey, yes, we are favored to win this game. We're expected to win. But if you don't take care of business early in the week, too, not just on game day, and of course, in a week like this, it's shorter. And so, you know, did you get your bodies right? Did you get your film room in? You know, everything is condensed. And so the team that prepares the best during the week and knows how to handle it is usually the one that comes out and wins this game. It's not easy, especially when you have younger guys that have not done it a lot in the past.
Well said, and of course this Cowboys team going to have to live up to those expectations. Now, whenever you're looking at this secondary, they've had some deep play from guys like Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, but they might have to deal without Jaron Kearse today. If that's the case, I mean, how much of a factor is that as we take a look at some of these Cowboys inactives?
Yeah, that's going to be big. You know, he's a physical player. He's out for the game with a back injury. Wanye Thomas is a guy that has been playing a lot here lately, so I think he will fill in some of those snaps as well. You know, you still have some good safeties, in, obviously, and, you know, Malik Hooker, you know, as one of the starters, Donovan Wilson as well. So it's a position of depth. And, you know, they had that three-headed monster. You know, Jaron Kearse has played pretty well. He's third on the team in tackle, so you're certainly going to miss some stuff there. But I think Wanye Thomas will be able to fill in, and, you know, we'll see what some of the other guys do as well.
Nick, as we wrap things up here on this one-on-one, we'll, of course, hear from you and Stephen Jones later on. I want to give you an opportunity. Anybody you'd like to shout out here on this Thanksgiving holiday and say hello to back at home?
Well, of course, you know, I got my family at home, my wife, Julie, the kids, Jacob, Camilla, they're in there, they're dancing around, of course, you know, probably, you know, watching cartoons and then also getting ready for football and eating as well. So I want to say thanks to them, Marissa, Olivia, all of them back at home.
Yeah, always fun getting the check back in and getting to cover this team, but also get to highlight the families here on Thanksgiving Day. Nick, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again here in just a bit. Now, this is a Cowboys team that has relied up front lately. The Cowboys 2 straight weeks without allowing a sack of Dak Prescott. It's been fantastic to see this offensive line start to build that continuity together against 2 pretty good fronts in the last 2 weeks. They'll have to do so again this week against this Washington Commanders defensive line. The strength of their team is on the interior going up against Tyler Smith. Here's what Tyler Smith had to say earlier in the week about the challenge at hand.
I mean, it's always a consistent process. I mean, at least, our mindset in the O-line room, we're always trying to stack days on top of days, just get better, especially, like, when it comes to the depth of our room. Like, you see in the fourth quarter a lot of times, some of the stars actually won't play, and we're bringing guys up, and I feel like that speaks to our 5-as-1 mentality. That, regardless of who is out there, like, the standard is the same. If you're not here, good. Definitely, got to be on your keys faster. It's a short turnaround, so, you got to take care of your body first and foremost, and then just being ready. I got a little bit of experience from last year just in how it goes, and you definitely really just got to take advantage of all the reps you get because it may not be as physical as a regular week would be.
Run game seems to have shown some improvement the last couple of games. What do you think has been the key for you guys up front?
I mean, definitely just it takes all 11 for sure, and I feel like, we've been harping on things in practice and our run walkthrough, and, TP and Rico have been doing, just a great job just, communicating with us and us communicating with them and just kind of like that cross-the-room communication. And I feel like that's really, that's contributed to a lot of success we're seeing. Obviously, it's something that, we still feel we can up it. It can be on a higher level, but I feel like that's part of the reason why, it started to take off recently.
Tyler Smith allowing just 1 sack, 7 pressures this season. He's been fantastic up front as we welcome back in Nate Newton. Nate, when you look at this offensive line, Tyler Smith has to be probably the best of the bunch so far this season, right?
Oh, yes. He's been very, very consistent. We worried about his hands and how he would place them. They've been great. He's had only 1 holding, and that was last week. This guy has really grown. He's always been physical. He's always been mean and tough, and that's what he helps in the middle of offense. Now, when you're going against Ron Payne and Jonathan Allen, you're going to need a bulldog up there to fight with him.
You talk about the physicality. He was known for that as a first-round pick out of Tulsa. The strength was always an element to his game that he had. But where has he evolved the most since then?
Hand placement and feet. When you step into your right, that right hand got to step with you. When you step into your left, the same. And he's doing that now. He's not going out here. He's coming from underneath. He's punching from underneath, whether it's a pass or a run. And he's got to continue to do that if he want to get to where he want to go. This guy's on a Pro Bowl level right now, and he can be an All-Pro. But we still got Zach Martin over there. If he gets a little bit more consistent, it could be a dog fight for that 3rd spot.
Through 7 games this year, is Tyler Smith the best Cowboys offensive lineman?
Without a doubt. He's standing tall, man, amongst a pretty good group of guys.
Yeah, and you mentioned Zach Martin. Of course, Tyron Smith continue to play well as well, but he's doing so without being in practice the later parts of these weeks. We talked about this being a short week for the Cowboys practice-wise, but are you okay with Tyron Smith taking time off to allow him to be better for the game?
Yes, you know how Dracula go in and go to sleep all day long and come out at night. That's what we need. Just put him in the crowd chamber, lay him back, let him go to sleep, and then we unleash him on the game time. I won't worry about it until playoff time when you have to have a little bit more rhythm and a little bit more time. Other than that, just keep doing what you're doing because he seemed to be playing well.
I thought this was Thanksgiving, not Halloween. I didn't know we were going to have a Dracula mention today. I mean, that was fantastic. Now, with Tyron and the way he's been playing, are you good with what he's put on film so far this year?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Tyron and Tyler, I am great with that left side. It's the right side that we just got to soar up a little bit.
What do you want to see from the right side better this year?
Just better technique, as Steele get more comfortable with his repairing of his knee, he should get better. And I wonder if Zach Martin hurt. A lot of people saying he's not that guy, but I wonder if he's hurt. And if he's not hurt, he may be just not that guy.
Maybe not. It might be one of those things that you got to continue to look for the future with this offensive line. It always is a revolving door. They've had those guys up front, though. Those starting 5 have been better over the last couple weeks. They're going to be challenged today, though, by this Washington interior defensive line. They may have traded some of these edge rushers like Sweat and Chase Young away, but Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne are still on the inside. And Washington loves to allow these guys to play fast and play free. How are they going to get after the interior of that offensive line?
Well, first of all, they're going to try to set you up with power runs. They're going to try to come straight down the middle of you. And then after they get you leaning forward and trying to punch at them, then they're going to start hitting you from the side. They're going to start lining up outside eye, inside eye, and trying to just outmaneuver you. These guys are very, very athletic. I don't believe they'll reach their potential. Each one of these guys has the ability to take over a game. That's why Washington let Chase go and Sweat go. Even though they was leading the team in sacks, they see the NFL is moving to take care of the middle. What's the quickest way to the quarterback? Straight down the middle. And they got the 2 guys to do it.
When you were playing and you were going up against guys of this caliber, maybe even guys of more
Right.
caliber than what they bring to the table, what was the biggest challenge for you from that guard spot to be able to block up a guy like that?
Since I was wearing around a healthy 320, 340, I didn't worry about you bull rushing me. I worry about whether you're quick enough. You get on my outside eye, I play left guard. If you can get on my outside and give me a first quick step, that right there worried me. But, hey, y'all know me, but 3 Super Bowls later, it don't matter.
Yeah, you got it done.
Yeah.
You got it done. With that being said, now, other than the flex there, could you have blocked Micah Parsons back in the day?
Michael Parsons is a great player, and he could do a lot of things. But Mike, we ran the ball, bro.
Ooh.
That right there is the great equalizer. Thank you.
And he talked about that a little bit earlier in the week. Let's hear from Micah Parsons on the challenge that Washington brings from a ground game standpoint, and also how fun it is playing on Thanksgiving.
We just got to capitalize and go out there and play. Because Sam Howell's been one that has some of the most pass attempts, some of the most yards in the NFL. And against us, he might give the ball off the most. You just never know how they're going to play us. And we've seen that quite a lot over the years of teams switching up game plans, switching up strategies because of who they're playing against. So it's not a stat sheet you could bank on.
You guys obviously aren't lacking for motivation for this game. It's a division rival. It's Thanksgiving. But considering how things went in Week 17 last year, does that give you guys added motivation to try to get some payback on your field?
No, and that's last year's stuff. We went through it last year. I just think this is a really good team. You turn on the tape, they've been close to beating the Eagles, fell short of just by a little bit. It could have went either way. The Giants game, I don't even really count that because of the amount of turnovers between running backs and quarterback, how many turnovers it has. The Seahawks game was down to a wire. So this is a team that can be in a positive any given way. They remind me a lot of the Chargers, a really good team that's barely that's splitting, not to coaching, but just the ball just don't roll to your side sometimes. You know, so this is a team that could and should be on a positive track with the amount of talent they have. So it's a team that we need to take very, very seriously, and just that should be enough motivation as it is.
AT&T Stadium, where the rally towels are out and the gates are open. Fans filing in for this Thanksgiving Day matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders. Welcome back to the Star in Frisco with Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans, and we've got 2 different elements of former players here. We have the defensive mind, and we have the former quarterbacks. So we have you covered here on Cowboys Pregame Live, especially when talking about this certain category, pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Dallas has done just that. Washington has allowed more pressures and more sacks than anybody else in the league right now. Sam Howell has been sacked 51 times. That's already through 10 games, a Washington franchise record. Isaiah, how frustrating is that from a quarterback standpoint?
Well, from a quarterback who doesn't have the ability to escape and utilize their legs, yeah, that's really frustrating because he's really negated to sitting back in that pocket and taking that punishment. 51 sacks through the season is a ridiculous amount of sacks, but obviously him through the first 10 games, I can only imagine the frustration. You have an amazing offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy, and you know that he's instilling great concepts. So when you know that guys are getting open with really good receivers like they have personnel-wise, and you can't get it there because you don't have the allotted time to do so, I can't imagine the frustration that he has.
Yeah, he has to be extremely frustrated, and I don't see things changing this afternoon against the Dallas Cowboys. When you look at it, this defensive line, they should dismantle Washington when you go out there. Last week, Washington let the New York Giants get 4 sacks on them. The Giants are ranked 28th in the National Football League in sacks with only 19 so far this season. So the Dallas Cowboys should be able to match that or double that production out there. But you know what they said, you got to earn the right to rush. So these guys have to worry about shutting down Gibson and Brian Robinson before they can pin their ears back and get after Sam Howell.
It is really interesting, too, to see the numbers that Sam Howell has put up this year. Of course, the interceptions are very high. That's probably a byproduct of being pressured as much as he has been, but he's put up some good yardage, over 3,000 yards. That leads the NFL. He's tied for 7th with those 18 passing touchdowns, and he's actually on pace to be the 3rd quarterback in the NFL's history to lead both categories of passing yards and time sacked in the same season. So with that being said, what does he do well from a quarterback standpoint?
When you look at it, I think he can spin it, as good as anybody out there. What I mean by spin it, I think he has great arm talent. Isaiah, I'm sure you can speak more on this, but when I look at him, he just seems inconsistent. You know, one week he'll look like Pat Mahomes out there, and then the next week he'll go out there and look like DeVito from a couple weeks ago with the Giants. So to me, he's very inconsistent out there. I don't know about you, Isaiah. You played the position. Yeah. What do you see when it comes to Sam Howell?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, this dude has a cannon. He has a solid arm. I think, you know, when he is on, he is an absolute problem. He's not somebody that you want to face. I think he has a lot of heart. I've actually liked his play in recent years. But what you're starting to run into this year is you find out a lot about who you have at the quarterback position, much like the quarterback over there in San Francisco, Mr. Purdy. When he started getting hit in the chest, all of a sudden you find out who you have. And as soon as he started getting hit in the chest 51 times, now all of a sudden your feet get a little shaky. Now all of a sudden I can't sit back in the pocket. I don't want to sit back, and I get a little careless with the ball. I'm more concerned about getting hit than I am about what happens with this ball, and that's what you're starting to see show up for Sam Howell. It's not the offense, it's not the personnel, it's his decision-making and his unwillingness to sit there and take the sack.
So do you think he deserves the majority of the blame of what's gone wrong offensively in Washington, or is it what's happening up front?
It's everything. It's everything.
It's a little bit of everything.
It's a little bit of everything. I mean, you can think about it. You have a new system. You have a new head coach. I mean, not new head coach, but a new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. They're figuring things out, much like the Dallas Cowboys were figuring things out in the beginning of the season, and things are starting to ramp up. They don't have a personnel problem out at the skill position in Washington. They have a personnel problem at the offensive line position. Anytime you're giving up 51 sacks, that is ridiculous. You just heard BC talk about what happened last week against the Giants. These guys are not able to protect. They don't have the personnel in order to do so this year, and Dallas is going to take full advantage of that.
And it's not like Sam Howell doesn't have any weapons to throw the football to. He actually has some pretty good targets to throw the rock to as we take a look at Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin. I should throw that out there too, since Nate wants to talk about Halloween. Jahan Dotson in there too. There's three legitimate targets where Sam Howell can find the rock to, and the numbers are up there in terms of yardage. But Barry, what type of challenge do they bring to this secondary, of course, without Jaron Kearse this week?
Well, when you look at it, Terry McLaurin, he's a beast no matter where you line him up. Outside receiver, the slot, no matter where he is, his talent is unbelievable, and you cannot sleep on a guy like that. Matter of fact, you can't sleep on none of these wide receivers out here. They all have the go juice, and they all can hit their heads on the goalpost if the ball is thrown there. When you look at it, when you got a guy like Sam Howell out there that can make all the throws, if you give him time, he's proven that he can carve up a defense. Just ask the Philadelphia Eagles a couple weeks ago when he threw for 397 yards and 4 touchdowns. Seattle 2 weeks ago, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. So this guy has the ability to make this offense explosive with the weapons on the outside. But overall, I just think this defensive line for the Dallas Cowboys will be too much for this Washington O-line.
Yeah, those guys have to go on a hunt. You know, they got to go back there and get these guys. Listen up, these guys are number 1 in the NFL right now in terms of shotgun snaps. Yeah. These guys are sitting up there. 86% of the time, these guys are sitting in shotgun.
They're third.
They're third. Okay, there you go. All right, so top 3.
85%, which is a lot of time.
That's a lot, right? You're sitting back there in the gun, so you know where he's going to be at, right? You're not necessarily concerned about is he sprinting out, is he doing any of these things. So these defensive linemen, okay, D-Law, Michael Parsons, Fowler, the rest of the party back there, they know where he's going to be. Find your mark, get back there at the 5 to 7 yard point, and go hunt. But you have to stop the run. If you can stop the run, then you can force these guys to pass. One of the reasons why he's had so many passing yards, and he's leading the NFL in that regard, is because they're having so many opportunities to get back on offense because they are starting to get blown out.
So scary Terry McLaurin has been neutralized by Trayvon Diggs in each of the last couple meetings between Dallas and Washington. Of course, there's no Trayvon Diggs out for the season from that knee injury earlier in the campaign. But when you look at what McLaurin has brought to the table this year, Isaiah, does he bring a worry with him? Concern.
Absolutely. I mean, Scary Terry, you don't get the name Scary Terry by just running regular routes and just making regular plays. This dude is a complete dog, okay? And you better put some respect on him. To Barry's point, if Sam Howell has an opportunity to sit back there in the pocket comfortably, you're allowing Scary Terry to get down the field. Trayvon Diggs is not there, but there is a Deron Bland, and Deron Bland has been tested. He has risen up to the occasion every single time his number's been called, but today is another one of those opportunities where he's going to have to show up and show out because Scary Terry, if given time, will definitely test him out.
Yeah, that's going to be a big-time matchup for Deron Bland. We understand he's gotten thrown to the outside, and he's played unbelievable at that outside cornerback position. But this is going to be a test because when you look at Scary Terry McLaurin out there, he's a great route runner. He has the go juice out there. And also, even though he's not a 6'5 guy, he can get those 50-50 balls up there. So this is going to be a heck of a matchup for both Deron Bland and Stephon Gilmore on the outside.
You're talking about NFL record holder Deron Bland.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
4 pick sixes and 6 interceptions on the year. He's been fantastic. I'm excited by the fact that Washington will throw the football to Terry McLaurin with Deron Bland in coverage. There's plenty more to look at. He may have a chance for pick number 7 today. If it's thrown a little bit off and that pressure's there, maybe somebody gets a tip on it. Maybe even it turns into pick 6 number 5.
You know what they say?
On the year.
Tips and overthrows.
Got to get those.
Got to get them. Let's hear from Deron Bland earlier in the week.
Now you just got to keep making more goals throughout the season, right? And the next goal right now is just to go break the record.
And who's been helping you, motivate you, that kind of thing on the field to kind of keep pushing?
I mean, everybody, teammates, coaches, family, just everybody.
What's your family have to say afterwards?
I didn't say too much yet. They're kind of keep quiet right now.
What are preparations for this week like? I'm sure having gone through this last year helped out to an extent, but what did you learn last year that you can maybe pass on to some of the rookies?
Just keep your head down. Just, you never know when your opportunity is going to come.
What about preparation for this week with the short week on Thanksgiving?
Just get your body right, get your mind right. Ain't too much to say,
I think you said after the game that now I'm going to go get the record. How do you balance that with realizing that you've got to kind of let it come to you and not force it?
I mean, that's just how you got to play each and every day. Can't never chase a play, or the play's never going to happen. So.
DaRon Bland has been on an absolute tear this season. We just talked about his record-tying fourth pick six last week. Could have a chance for more. We've got the entire crew here. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton. Barry, I'll start with you, a resident defender. What has he done so far this season that's so special?
Look, the way this guy has become a complete corner, in my opinion. Not just a man-to-man corner, not just a zone corner. He can do it all. I mean, you play him inside, you play him outside. It does not matter when it comes to DaRon Bland. And the thing I love about it is he's not just going for the PBUs. All right, he's going to take the football away and get it back to his offense. And if he don't think the offense can score, he's going to score himself. All right, so DaRon Bland, he's doing an amazing job out there, understanding the defense, understanding how offenses are going to try to attack him. And this guy, I mean, he's playing beyond his years. Only his second year, and his understanding of how offenses concepts work is unbelievable. I haven't seen anything like this from a young player like himself. Yeah. The sky's the limit when you talk about DaRon Bland.
The one attribute that sticks out to me whenever I think about DaRon Bland is his closing speed. He has the ability to sit over the top of routes to not get beat, right? So he's able to play safe defense, keep everything in front of him. And then when you think that you actually have an open receiver, he's able to close that gap so fast, so instinctively, being able to diagnose exactly what the quarterback's doing because his eyes are on the quarterback. He sees the ball come out of his hands and then utilizes that closing speed to break on the ball, go get it, not just get a pick, but turn it into pick sixes because of his ability to break on the ball.
When you see a guy doing this right here, it's not just his ability. It's not just his ability, his athletic ability. It's about his upstairs. Yep. It's what above the neck. And when Al Harris and the other coaches, what is the young man's name?
Joe Witt Jr.
Joe Witt Jr. is talking to this guy. He's understanding what he can do within the defense, what he can do within the coverage. My hat's off to this guy because he's mentally strong.
And give credit to Al Harris, too, as the defensive backs coach, what he's done of allowing not only the young emergence of DaRon Bland, but the young emergence of Trayvon Diggs, too. Back early in the first couple of years of his career, Al Harris played a crucial point in helping Trayvon Diggs become who he is. Now he's doing the same with DaRon Bland on the opposite side. Get some extra veteran help with Stephon Gilmore, too. That always sprinkles in a little fun. Now, we got to have a little fun here, too, and hopefully Washington's in a giving mood here on Thanksgiving to give DaRon Bland a pick. But since it is Thanksgiving, you guys have all played on the holiday. Barry, I'll start with you. Your favorite Thanksgiving holiday with the Cowboys?
Man, I'm going to be honest with you, Cal. I don't have any great Thanksgiving.
What about just in general?
Oh, because I lost every single Thanksgiving game I played. But just in general, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I came up here, y'all thought I was coming up here for the pregame show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm coming up here for my man's mac and cheese. I'm talking about Isaiah Stanback's mac. That's what I look forward to year in and year out when you talk about Thanksgiving. My man always hooking us up. So I can't wait to see what's going on back there.
So that means right now the invoice is null and void for Barry Church because he's up here for the mac and cheese.
Let's not go that far. Hold on now.
Nate, I'll go to you next here on this one. But favorite part about Thanksgiving as a whole?
I watched this from a kid, this Thanksgiving thing, and I played in this Thanksgiving thing, and I had the honor to sit up here with you guys and do these pre-games and post-games. This is what it's about. These Thanksgiving games, man, just family. I'm my TV family.
And this is our fourth Thanksgiving together as a family.
Hey,
so how about that? Yeah, we did a little bit. And because of that, we know Isaiah Stanback very well. We don't even have to ask him what his favorite thing is on Thanksgiving.
Okay, man, you know what's coming up. The greatest time of the year as far as food. You know, we're talking about Thanksgiving. What is your favorite Thanksgiving memory?
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
That's my memory every year. Flashbacks. That's my favorite food, so that's what I kill.
So no matter what, the first thing you go for, you don't go for the dressing, turkey, no pie, no nothing. It's macaroni and cheese. Why is that?
Cheese, I got like half the plate. You gotta know the favorite plates. You gotta double up with the favorite plate. You gotta put the big part is all macaroni and cheese. You gotta get another plate for all the meat.
I wish we had a 2-box on the reactions from in here.
Yes.
Yo, I'm getting to everybody.
That was back in 2007.
Wow.
That was when that video was made. Do you remember that at all?
I definitely remember that. That's my boy Ro Parrish. He's been doing the media thing for a long time. And yeah, I'm consistent, man. Mac and cheese has been my thing. I loved it so much. I had to learn how to make it. All right, so now I don't rely on anybody else to make it. Now I make my own mac and cheese. I make one for here on game day, and I make 2 for the crib.
2 for the crib? It's like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Not jumping over the food.
The neat bin, right? He said I got to jump over every other side here. I got to get to the mac and cheese right at the end.
Y'all are hilarious.
Love the athleticism, man.
That was filmed this year. Your boy still got a little something up. I got a little juice.
That was
McCarthy,
back in 2007. Don't let him.
Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness.
That's good stuff.
Great job, production crew.
Good
That
job,
was
y'all.
fantastic.
That was
That was so
awesome.
much fun. Very good. Very well done. Paul was the one that put that one together. He's
Paul.
Oh, Paul, man.
All right. I got you.
Paul taking shots.
He's taking a couple shots.
He's got the receipt on you,
He's starting
Paul.
to make a list now. Speaking of Thanksgiving holiday special for so many people involved, whether it's the NFL or just those that enjoy the NFL, let's check in at AT&T Stadium with Nicole Hutchison.
Guys, the Dallas Cowboys have their eyes set on extending that NFL record of having the longest active home winning streak to 13, but they also have their eyes set on that Thanksgiving meal that's waiting for them at their homes. I caught up with some of the guys to get an insight on what to expect on their Thanksgiving plates today. When you think of Thanksgiving, what do you think of? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Food. What all I'm thankful for. And then second, food.
Enjoy food, enjoy the taste, enjoy the seasoning. I got a grandmother that cooks it up.
What does your Thanksgiving Day plate look like?
So my Thanksgiving plate, okay, here we go. We got greens with hot sauce, mac and cheese. I don't like yams. I like turkey, a little bit of turkey, ham, cornbread stuffing, cranberries, and I want some beets. Yup.
You lost me with the beets.
Fortunately for me, I was born with aunts that can cook, so they went crazy. We had macaroni, greens, dressing, every pie you could imagine.
Had to choose between having sides on your plate or a dessert on your plate. What you going with?
I'm going with sides for sure. I'm not too big on dessert.
Probably go with the desserts. You got pumpkin pie. I think we do like carrot cake.
I'm gonna go sides all day, y'all.
Side.
I definitely gotta get some greens. I need the greens.
Sides.
If you have to choose between pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie. The face says it all.
Neither one. Sweet potato pie, gotta have it.
What's your favorite memory about Thanksgiving?
Man, my favorite memory? Probably playing basketball with my uncles in Shreveport.
2014, my grandma actually had a birthday around this time every single year, so we'll get together every 10 years. And when I say it was a dish from every single person in our family, I mean, you had it all. Turkey, ham, mashed potato, I mean, you had it all.
Honestly, I don't know if there's one particular one. Always watching Cowboy games, eating with the family, just enjoying cousins, grandmas, getting to go see both sets of grandparents. Just always such a fun time, grateful time. Nothing's changed. Now just getting to play the game on Thanksgiving is a blessing.
Nicole Hutchison checking in with the Cowboys locker room prior to this Thanksgiving matchup. It's the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. We are Cowboys Pregame Live. And you got to see a little Deuce Vaughn there, a little Dak Prescott, and get to hear from Tyler Smith. Do you want to hear from Tony Pollard on the field today? Ooh, yes. I feel like it's been a long time coming for Tony Pollard and company to get going. He had 70 or less yards in each of these last couple weeks. He finally did find the end zone last week, his first score since week 1. Barry, I'll start with you. What do you want to see more from this run game?
Look, I'm a big fan of Tony Pollard, and I think he can bring some explosiveness to this offense overall. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in the ground game. If you need to, sprinkle a little bit of runs in there, but get him involved in the passing game as well. All right, this is a guy with a great set of hands, can go out there, and anytime he touches the football, he has an opportunity to go to the end zone. So why not use that explosive part of your offense? I'd like to see him get a little bit more attention to Tony Pollard this afternoon.
Please give him some attention, Barry. Please. I mean, listen up. Coming into last week's game, he was averaging 18.5 touches per game. And when you go and look at his carries, okay, out the backfield, majority of the games he's been having 12 carries. Yeah, I don't know too many dominant running backs, Nate, that have been around, or maybe even you played with, who you only gave them the rock 12 times out the backfield. You need more touches in order to get your mojo. I know Coach McCarthy likes his mojo moments. Well, you got to give him his Tony Pollard mojo moment today.
18 to 20 touches is what I need, fellas. It's how you use them outside. Draws, screens, let him touch the ball, catch him like you said, Church, and he'll be okay, fellas. He will get a little bit more as the season go on.
But Isaiah, if you're taking all those carries and giving them to Tony Pollard, that means you're taking away from Rico Dowdle, who is active today. Are you okay with that? Because Rico Dowdle's been toting the rock pretty nice.
Rico Dowdle's been doing a great job, and I think that they do need to utilize these two as a 1-2 punch. However, you have made this dude your salary cap player of the year, all right? You capped him, okay? So now, all of a sudden, now he's your guy. Utilize him. And he's such an asset. And now, my biggest fear is that they're going to say, oh, we're protecting him, we're saving him. And then all of a sudden, when you're asking him to make some contributions at the end of the year for the playoff run, he doesn't have the hot hand, right? He's not used to it. He's not in the position. He doesn't have the confidence. That's my biggest fear, is that they're waiting too long to get him rolling. He needs a couple 100-yard games to really feel like the player he has been over the past few years.
Yeah, just feed the man. Just feed the man and let him tap his helmet out when he wants to go, all right? I mean, look, Rico Dowdle is an excellent running back in the backfield. But this is Tony Pollard's backfield. This is his opportunity to go out there and show that he can be the lead back. Feed the man. Just don't hit him with the one series on, one series off. If he's tired, he'll tap his head and come on out. And then, Rico, you can go in there and get those carries. But to me, leave Pollard in the game. Let him be running back number one.
Love you, Coach McCarthy. Keep doing your thing. I'm not going to keep arguing with these guys and debating with these guys. Between those 30 touches, Tony getting 18 to 22. Stop, y'all. Be patient. This is going to work.
Would you give Emmett only 12 touches?
You talking about a different level?
Okay, all right.
Don't do that to Tony.
I was about to say, that's a different comparison here.
What I'm saying is that was y'all's guy.
Yes,
right?
that's the man.
That was your man.
Man.
Regardless of the era, regardless of how dominant of a player he was, that was your man. You were going to give him the ball more than 12 times because of what he meant to your team. That's how I feel about Tony Pollard with this team. You need to give him the rock. You haven't even seen what this offense is capable of yet, because guess what? Dak Prescott is a play-action quarterback. Well, you're not running the rock. So if you can't run the rock, you can't even get to see what Dak Prescott does best. Go get this running game going so that you can see what this offense has to offer.
Yeah, it is a debate. It totally is, because some Cowboys fans want more Rico Dowdle, some want more Tony Pollard, some want more of both. I think maybe that is where we could find some even ground, is allowing for both of those guys to get going. But right now, the numbers just aren't there for Tony Pollard. That's the number one thing. There are some numbers in the ground game on the opposite side for the Washington Commanders. Brian Robinson Jr. has been having a nice year, both as a tailback and as a pass catcher. 314 receiving yards. He has 8 total touchdowns combined between the two. He leads Washington in those in the scrimmage yard category at the moment, and it's 14th highest in the NFL. Nate, when you watch Brian Robinson Jr. preparing for this week, who needs to step up the best on that Dallas defense to corral him?
It don't matter. We have not given this guy enough attention. Thank you, offensive coordinator, for loving to pass the ball, because I do not want them to unleash this kid on us. He's 6'1", 225 pounds of pure fury. This is a rock waiting to be unleashed. Coach, be enemy, keep throwing the ball.
Listen, yeah, you heard Nate right there. This dude's a beast. He's a big physical specimen, okay, and he has an amazing offensive coordinator who's going to continue to utilize him the proper way, okay. This dude has 5 on the ground, 3 in the air, 8 touchdowns compared to Tony Pollard, who has 2, okay. So you talk about the utilization. Now I'm talking about the capabilities. I'm talking about how they're being utilized. This guy is somebody that you have to keep your eye on. Marquise Bell, please go out there and keep your eye on him and follow this dude wherever he goes.
Yeah, without a doubt. He's the best of both worlds. He can receive out of the backfield, and he can run it right down the defense's throat. And we've seen running backs in the past that are more physical, especially the running back and the scheme, give Dallas Cowboys issues. You talk about the San Francisco 49ers. They were able to get right downhill on these guys. James Conner from Arizona, big physical running back. downhill. And when you look at the second level for the Dallas Cowboys, you got Damone Clark, who's a linebacker body, but then you also got Marquise Bell, who's more of a safety body in there. When you got a safety in there battling with those big 300-pounders, those holes seem to open up. So be aware of what you talk about with Marquise Bell in the second level, because Brian Robinson, he's coming downhill with it.
You mentioned early in the show, we talked about early in the show, the pressure that teams in opposing pass rushes have put on Sam Howell. With the reputation surrounding the run defense of Dallas, do you expect them to run the ball more this time around than they have all year?
I would expect that, but it surprises me when you look at the NFL out there and how many teams go away from the run so early when playing against the Dallas Cowboys. They go down, one touchdown, maybe even 10 points, and they completely abandon the running game, and that falls right into Dan Quinn's lap because it allows his defensive line to hunt after the quarterback. So to me, it wouldn't surprise me if they got away from the run early, but if I'm going against the Dallas Cowboys, I'm feeding them guys left and right.
Is that a byproduct of just feeling the pressure of wanting to keep pace with Dallas? Because offensively, Dallas has been playing better, but you feel like maybe that's a byproduct of the whole situation?
I think with some of the offensive coordinators that we faced, but you're about to face, in my opinion, the best offensive coordinator in the league. He's been the best offensive coordinator for some years now. Obviously, he's no longer in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. Now he's out there with Sam Howell. So he's going to have to continue to try to figure some things out. But even with that personnel change, this dude still has a quarterback who's leading the NFL in passing yards. He still has a running back who has 8 touchdowns. So you see that these guys are still able to move the ball down the field. This dude is a weapon. He is a complete threat, and that's the offensive coordinator I'm talking about.
You know, what bothers me is I think offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, your job is to adapt to your talent. That's what Dan Quinn does very well. He adapts his talent. And Eric Bieniemy, your talent is Robinson. I know you like Sam Howell. I know you want to get the passing game up and going, but the man is the Robinson kid. Yeah. And if they run that ball, we could be in for a long day. But if they don't, we're going to get Sam Howell for about 8 sacks, yeah.
And you talk about running the ball consistently. That's the problem that teams have had against Dallas. Dallas has still not allowed a 100-yard rusher. They've allowed bunches of rushing yards at certain times throughout the year, but they haven't necessarily allowed that one guy to go off this year against some of the more talented players in the league. One guy who could maybe help out with that is now on the open market for the NFL. Shaquille Leonard, former All-Pro linebacker, released by Indianapolis this week. So we just asked the question, now that he is no longer under contract with the Indianapolis Colts, he is available on waivers. Would you be willing to bring in a guy like Shaq Leonard to be a part of the middle of that Dan Quinn defense?
If he's healthy. That's the number one question, and I have all the confidence in the world in this training staff and the doctors that they have on staff here. They're first class. So if they have opportunity to bring him in and check him out, and he clears and he's healthy, then I say add him to the room, and I think he'll be out there, be an impact player. More talent that you can add that's healthy and available, why not?
Healthy, healthy, healthy. I want more than one opinion. I know we have a great staff here, but I would like to send him to a specialist because if he's healthy, this kid can bring the hammer.
Yeah, I'm with both of you guys. It all comes down to health, and if he is, he can come in here and make your team better. Look what Philadelphia did, bringing in Byard and bringing in Roby. You look at that Kansas City game; both of those players made 2 of the top plays in that game to help them get a win. Make your team better. If this guy's healthy, why not take a waiver wire on him?
I think it's an interesting conversation. Now, there is a contract that plays into it. He was given the bag, and that contract's still out there from Indianapolis. So if he passes through waivers, then you could sign him to a different deal. So there's a really good chance he passes through waivers early in the week this week, and then once he does that, you can sign him to your own deal. And if that's the case, then I think Dallas would maybe be one of the calls that could get that direction. That's just a thought. That's not a report. Just want to put that out there. No inside information on that one specifically. Now, with that being said, this defense has helped set the tone the last couple of weeks. But Dak Prescott's been playing error-free football. He's been throwing the ball. He's been making good decisions. And he continues to build on that offensive system with Mike McCarthy now as the play caller here in 2023. Here's what Dak Prescott had to say about where the offense is heading and how they'll match up against Washington.
I can tell you the way that I feel, the confidence that I have in this group myself. Zone, I guess you can call it, whatever it is. Talked about it over and over, the coaches, just the chemistry of this team. Yeah, by far the best I've ever felt. And it's not just me, it's a lot of the things around me that ultimately, being a leader, a lot of times you're trying to control those things. You're trying to make sure things around you are good, taken up in places, this and that. And that's the minimal of my job right now is handling things outside of my job, which obviously makes it easier for me.
More so than ever?
More so than ever.
Dak, CD was just talking about how you block out noise and stuff. I'm curious, When was the first time you realized just how ridiculous it can get in your position here?
I don't know. Maybe early. Maybe early. A recent example, obviously, was the training camp. Me and Diggs, back and forth, and that's as much as people had their perception on what that was. And as I think I said back then, I'm just glad they don't have a mic on me all the time and the things that are said back and forth between me and people. But that's, just the way that was taken was another prime example of just the spotlight, I guess you can say, this position holds being on this team.
So Dak has not only been crisp as a whole this year, but look at him on third down. Top 2 in 4 of the major categories for quarterbacks this season across the NFL. He's the best in completion percentage. He leads that in totality, by the way, at the moment. Over 70%, a career high over the season in general. But on third down, Barry, he's been about as good as can be. How imperative is that for his success moving forward?
Well, going forward, you always want to win the money down, which is third down. And Dak Prescott, like you said, you see on these numbers, has been outstanding on third down. Overall, I think he's played himself into the MVP conversation. But what gets me is I don't know if it's that sustainable. Like, if you want to win the MVP and put all these numbers up, of course, you can get that done. But do you want to have a long run in the playoffs? I think you have to have more of a balanced approach, not just being on Dak Prescott's shoulders. He's playing outstanding, but if you want that long run, I think you have to have more balance to it, which means more Tony Pollard in that run game.
I'm so glad you said it, BC. You have to continue to give him some complimentary ball, and that means that you need to have an efficient running game. Dak Prescott is at his best when you have a running game where he can turn around and hand the ball off, and then when you get keyed in on the running game, now he can get out the pocket. He's doing a great job of making sound decisions. That's been the biggest improvement for Dak Prescott this year. He still has flashes where you can see that he wants to kind of double pump or he wants to make that bad decision, but he's pulling himself back. He's wrangling it up and making the right move. My fear is that they continue to put so much demand on him and ask him to continue to play at this level that he goes back to the old Dak. So I hope that they find a running game before he does that.
I agree with you. You need the running game, and I always be about that. But I like how he's starting to find Jake Ferguson. And please don't forget about Cooks. Keep Cooks in your mind. And we need to still see him once a quarter go deep. Just throw it out there once a quarter.
So just continuing with the Dak Prescott conversation here, the number one knock against Dak Prescott in 2022 were the interceptions, 15 interceptions. He was told all offseason long, take care of the football, continue to keep your offense on the field. He's done that. Check that box, done. And then you're talking about these conversations of, okay, he's not pushing the ball down the field. That was early in the season. You're not having the big play. You're not finding your weapons. These last, probably 4 games, 5 games, I don't want to overspeak here, 4 or 5 games, he's continued to do that. And it's not just against these bad teams. It's against teams like Philadelphia. Even the game against San Francisco, that was his worst game by far in terms of taking care of the football. He still pushed it down the field a little bit. With that being said, where is the knock against Dak Prescott right now? Is he in that MVP conversation, especially if he wins this week? You go up against Thursday Night Football, Seattle next week. You could be a 10-3 football team if you take care of Philadelphia as well. At that point, I think he'd be squarely in the mix.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, because when you look at it, everybody's waiting for Dak Prescott in that big-time game to make those big-time throws and big-time decisions. San Francisco, he didn't do that. He turned the ball over. But then he bounced back against Philadelphia, primetime game, and showed that he could be on his shoulders out there to get the job done. They didn't win that game, and that's what kind of got me a little bit worried. Like, is that sustainable when you talk about getting W's out there? But so far, Dak Prescott has checked every box when it comes to his personal play out there. If he can continue to take care of the football, this offense should have no worries.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that you have to put him in the conversation. I think it's really going to come down to how he responds in those big games, but also does he continue to win games? Because you can have good personal games, okay, in terms of statistics, but if you don't win the ball game, then it really doesn't matter because ultimately that's what everybody's going to continue to judge him based off of.
My Ring of Honor coach, Jimmy Johnson, said, go to the playoffs, win the first round, win the second round, get in the NFC Championship game, and anything can happen. All the rest of that stuff y'all talking about, that's just glitter to the game, baby.
It really is.
Yes.
Win the big games, and then you can be in that conversation. I think that's where we're all at here. I think the way he's been playing is MVP-esque but it's been against the not-so-good teams. You got to be able to beat these good teams, playoff caliber teams, put up those numbers, and continue to put it on a consistent basis. I think all three of you guys said that in that whole montage, the analysis, consistency needed from Dak Prescott. There's been some consistency from CeeDee Lamb as well. Boy, has he been fantastic. Talked about the streak, the historic one where he had the at least 10 receptions, 150 yards. And then he continues to put up numbers. Even last week, found the end zone. What has he done best this year?
Man, when you look at it, CD has, in my opinion, become that guy. All right, when defenses put double teams on you, when they put all their attention on you, and you're still able to go out there and put up these numbers, I mean, that just goes to show the work he put in the offseason to become a better wide receiver out there. That wavelength between him and Dak Prescott, it seems like it's unbreakable right now. Last year, the security blanket was Dalton Schultz. This year, it's looking like it's CeeDee Lamb. And in my opinion, that's the best security blanket you could have. Because if you can dump it off to CeeDee Lamb and he can turn that into a 50-yard gain, man, that works wonders for your offense. So to me, what CeeDee Lamb has done a great job of is just being unguardable, no matter what you put on him. Double team, a safety over top, he's going to find a way to get open, and he's taking that number one role and he ran with it.
I'm going to pull a word out of my Ebonics dictionary.
There it is.
It's called everything. Everything. You know what I mean?
Is that 3 R's or 2 R's?
That's 3 R's.
There it
okay?
is.
So we go to the Ebonics dictionary, okay, page 42, line E. That's going to be everything, okay? That's exactly what he's doing. He's doing everything right. And one particular thing that he's doing well is releasing off the ball. Nobody can get their hands on him. A lot of times when you face these number one receivers, especially when they're the size of CD, the last thing you want to let them do is get that locomotive going downfield. So what do? You walk up on him, you get your hands on him. Well, I don't know if you guys remember all the little Instagram posts he put on this summer. Everything was release-based. Everything he was doing was working with specialists in terms of getting off the ball. Now all of a sudden he's able to get the guy's hands on him at the line of scrimmage, pick a side, not run down the middle of a guy, choose a side, sauce him up at the top, and create some separation for Dak. Dak's giving him the ball, giving him the opportunities. Coach McCarthy's force-feeding him, making plays.
He even lines up in the backfield and scores touchdown. This kid is special, man, and he's just everything.
Hey, by the way, I'm fact-checking Isaiah. Everything was actually in the Ebonics dictionary. Yeah. It's page 88, lines C and D.
Right.
That's where it was. That's unfortunate.
I like that.
Almost got it. Let's go out to AT&T Stadium. Stephen Jones, Cowboys COO, is now joining Nick Eatman on the sideline.
Thank you, Kyle. And as always, we're here with Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer, and I know you get to work with your family all the time. So just tell me, what does Thanksgiving mean to you, especially in a game like this? You get to do it every year.
Well, as we all know what Thanksgiving stands for, it's a time to be thankful for your families, for your friends, for all the things Jesus has done for us. And but the bigger thing here, too, for us is we want to give back as well. You know, we've got the beautiful kettles out here. They're sparkly for Dolly today.
Oh, yeah.
But we want everybody who's obviously been blessed to give back. And certainly just a special day to tell all the people that we get to work with and around how much we appreciate it.
I know getting off to a fast start is important in every game, but is it even more here because you want to go into halftime in a good mood with the lead so you can watch Dolly?
Well, I'm going to watch Dolly regardless, but in all seriousness, you know, this is a good football team, and they play well. They play good, solid defense in spite of the fact they've lost 2 of their defensive ends. Their quarterback's a baller. He just seems to make plays when he needs to, and, you know, we're going to have to really execute, play good Dallas Cowboy football like we have most of the year, and then hopefully good things will happen to us. But I promise you, anytime you play a division rival, anytime you play in Washington, New York, or Philly, your work's cut out for you. You can throw the records out the window and how they played last week or the week before. You just better come ready to play.
You obviously, teams are getting used to this short week. Everyone has to play on a Thursday. But do you like the way your team has figured things out here to get through the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get prepared? It's all kind of switched into one week.
I think Mike does a great job with these guys, getting their bodies ready for this run that we make with 2 back-to-back Thursdays. You know, I think our team responds well. And, of course, you know, AT&T Stadium's developed in quite the home field advantage. I think right now this team right here has the longest home game winning streak going back to last year. And certainly, you know, what we want to do is go out here and get these fans fired up. And, as you said, do it early and get them into the game, and that's a big advantage for the Cowboys.
I remember in training camp you said that, you know, you got to have positions of need. Safety is one that we have a lot of depth, and we're probably going to need it. Here they are today. Jaron Kearse not going to play. because of a back injury, but you've got a lot of depth around it. Do you like the guys that'll be filling in behind him?
Well, Wanye's done a great job for us. And, you know, when Dono was out, he stepped up and played at a high level. He'll step up, and as much as we'll miss Jaron Kearse, I know he'll do what he needs to do to be efficient and effective out there. And certainly we brought up Redwine as well, who did some really good things in the preseason. We all saw him at camp making plays, and he's a really good special teams player as well. So, you know, that's one of the things when you're building a team is you want depth, because all 32 have the issue. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have to respond to it, and we think we can.
All right. Well, the players are running on the field. The crowd's getting into it. I'm going to let you get going here. That's Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll throw it back to Kyle and the crew.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. And, of course, Cowboys COO Stephen Jones. You can hear the crowd getting into it. Thanksgiving's just a little bit different around Arlington, but it's also different here in Frisco. This is my favorite segment maybe of the entire year, because it's a chance for us as an entire crew, an entire department, to say Happy Thanksgiving from our families to yours. We're going to start things off with one of the guys that helps put together Sounds of the Sideline. Alex Lilly is the first highlighted family today. Happy Thanksgiving from Alex Lilly and family. Also on the sidelines at AT&T Stadium, Chris Beam and family. Chris Beam also is behind the scenes for all of our Cowboys.com podcast. It feels like Isaiah Stanback's on every piece of content we do, so we got to highlight his family.
I love it. I love it.
Douglas Barraclough, who puts together a lot of our audio. He's also one of our producers on our Spanish content, Spanish broadcast every day. Douglas does a great job. So does Barry Church and family.
You see the crew, man.
Look at the crib. Look at the background there. All black, too. Looks great. Jasmine Marshall, she's running audio today, but she does a little bit of everything.
Jib Jizzle.
Jib Jazz is what we call her. Followed by my family, and, of course, we've got our entire wedding outfit there. So got married in May with my beautiful wife, Lorena. Happy Thanksgiving from our family to yours. We have our media intern, Lidiana Reyes, and her family. Family's actually in the building getting to enjoy it today. So shout out from Lidiana. We've got Matt Fields and company. Matt Fields also does a lot behind the scenes. My goodness, he helps us get on the air every single week. Then we've got Nate Newton.
Big Nate, though.
Nate.
Wow, man.
Yeah, got his wife and his children there as well. Couple sons.
Smiling and everything.
Yeah. Kevin Timmons, he's the one that's actually running this replay as we speak at the moment. KT, one of our highlighted editors and producers. Hey, Caden Gates, how about that? Big Caden and company and his fiance there. And you got the tree in the background. Very nice. Justin Ballou, he's one of our interns this season as well. And a proud North Texas student. Go Mean Green. I will add in on that one. Justin Ballou. Scott Purcell, one of the broadcast directors here. You've seen Scott behind the scenes here and there. He's out at the stadium at AT&T Stadium. His beautiful family as well. We've got Paul, who's running the camera. Look at this family from Paul. What a shot, the selfie. This was during their Thanksgiving, too, and he's smiling back there as well. Jody, who's our graphics operator and graphic designer.
Jody,
family there. Jody helping put all this together, too. Matt Kent, he's our director. He puts it all together. There's his daughter, Clementine, having some fun.
That's awesome.
The denims. He's got the best jean collection in company history. Nicole Hutchinson, our brand new reporter, as she's out at the stadium having a great time on the sideline. We'd like to say Happy Thanksgiving from Nicole. Patrick No-C Walker joining in with Dak Prescott earlier. Happy Thanksgiving from Patrick. We've got Tony back behind here. Tony Rockett and his family. How fun is that? Got the little one in the picture.
Beautiful.
William Boykins, he's the one that puts us on the air. So he puts our stream together. He's our webmaster at DallasCowboys.com, wearing the Duke shirt there with the national championship hat. He's a big Duke fan. And then rounding things out, we got Nikki Harrison and company, her husband Heckma. We've got Kia in there, Lil Heck as well. And as we do wrap things up, it is such a special holiday for all of those that are involved. But it's not just Thanksgiving that we're celebrating here inside the studio here at Cowboys Pregame Live. We just said Happy Thanksgiving from ours to yours. But Caden Gates needs to get out here. Our producer, Caden Gates, he's usually the one that's in our ear. He's the one that puts together this entire rundown. I want him to come through. He's coming through the door as we speak. Caden Gates is getting married on Sunday. We wanted to congratulate Caden. Caden, I can't say it enough. Thank you for everything you do. Spends long hours in the studio, long hours in the control room.
The day before.
Even the day before, the week before his wedding, Caden is in here in the studio getting to celebrate with us and get you ready for Cowboys football. I don't know if I've ever met a bigger Cowboys fan that is in the building than Caden Gates, and I haven't met a better person either. So
no doubt.
Appreciate you, Caden. Congratulations to you and your family for the wedding coming up. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and now we got to get you back in there. We're helpless without Caden, so he needs to get back into the control room as quickly as possible. We can't start this off. Barry, keys to the game for the Cowboys to get a win here on Thanksgiving.
Stop the run, make them one-dimensional. You should be able to feast.
Get 3 turnovers against Sam Howell. He wants to give it to you. It's Thanksgiving. Take that thing.
I just don't believe somebody want to throw the ball that many times can beat our defense. Maybe we're going to run these dudes out of here.
Oh, what's your score prediction then, if that's the case?
40-0.
Ooh,
yeah,
a little week one action.
Yeah, we got to run through them straight to Philly, baby. We got to run through them.
There we go.
Hey, you got Seattle in there too. You can't forget about Seattle.
We'll worry about that next week.
Yeah, they play tonight as well. So then you got that one. They'll play the San Francisco 49ers after the Cowboys and the Commanders. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And we're ready to bring you all the post-game coverage as well. We'll have Cowboys Game Night, Cowboys OT, and the first word presented by Dr. Pepper. Following the final whistle, it's the Cowboys and the Commanders Thanksgiving Day from AT&T Stadium. The throwback uniforms are ready. DeMarcus Lawrence is ready. Hope you're ready for this one. For our entire DallasCowboys.com crew, for Isaiah, Barry, Nate, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you post-game. Cowboys Commanders 3:25 kickoff on CBS.